What's up guys, welcome back to another 7-round mock draft video. As you can tell from the title, this will be the third version for the Los Angeles Chargers. But before we get into the mock draft, I think that it's important to know some of the off-season moves the Chargers have made in order to have a better grasp of what their positional needs are and who we should draft. So with that being said, let's get right into it. So the Chargers have lost a ton of guys through free agency, including Chase Daniels, who might be retiring. Matt Filer went to the Buccaneers. He was cut as a cap casualty. Storm Norton signed with the Saints. He didn't really do much for the Chargers. It was pretty lackluster, so his loss won't be that significant. Then we got DeAndre Carter and Michael Bandy. Michael Bandy actually signed with the XFL, which is pretty interesting. And then DeAndre Carter signed to the divisional rival Raiders. Victor Rogers is still on the market, I believe, and so is Bryce Callahan, who was a pretty solid contributor to the Chargers as a slot corner. But he's also getting up there in age. That's probably why he hasn't re-signed. Nasir Adderley, he decided to retire, even though he's only like 24, 25. But I guess that's his decision. On the defensive side, we also got Braden Fajoko, who signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers. And then you got Christian Covington, who's still a free agent, I believe. So is Tyler Davison. And Joe Gaziano went to the Falcons. So it's got like 4 DTs at least who've left the team, so definitely need to replenish there. And then one of the leaders of the defense last season, Drew Tranquil, went to the Chiefs, the division rival, which is really unfortunate because he was our green dot. We got Kyle Van Noy. He came in really solid in the back half of the season, and he's still a free agent, so we could look to re-sign him. But yeah, Sean Reeder, he didn't play much on defense, but he was a solid special teamer, and he signed with the Vikings. Then you got Derek Tutska, who's another special teamer, and he's still in the market, I believe. Moving on to free agency additions and re-signings, the Chargers haven't made a ton of moves in terms of adding guys from the outside to the Chargers, with Eric Kendricks being their only signing from the Vikings. He's a really solid middle linebacker and would likely replace Drew Tranquil. He gives a really solid veteran presence there, but he's definitely not a long-term solution. As for re-signings, we got Easton Stick. He's going to be backing up Justin Herbert again. We got Will Clapp, backup center. And then you got Trey Pipkins, which was an absolute steal by the Chargers in my opinion, because he signed like a 3-year, $21 million deal. And in comparison to guys like Mike McGlinchey, that's an absolute fleece. You got Jalen Guyton, who got signed a couple days ago. He tore his ACL early on last year in September, so he could be at full strength by the time the season starts, but guys who had serious injuries like that aren't normally themselves their first season, so we'll have to wait and see. Donald Parham, Chicken Parm, is back. He was injured a ton with hamstring issues and a concussion. Good to see him back at full health now. They got Morgan Fox, one of our more solid contributors on the defense. He had 6.5 sacks, and then he's basically our only pass rushing interior D lineman. You got Keemon Hall, who's a special teamer, depth corner guy. Then lastly, you got the 2 specialists, J.K. Scott and Cameron Dicker. Who J.K. Scott, although he was last in net yard average for punts, he actually had the least amount of return yards in the entire league. And Cam Dicker was the rookie we signed in the Eagles practice squad. He made a ton of kicks in the absence of Dustin Hopkins. As for draft needs, receiver is probably one of the top priorities for the Chargers, given that Mike Williams and Keenan Allen's cap hit next season will be extremely high, so one of them is probably going to be gone. So in order to plan for that, it's probably a good idea to draft a receiver, sit behind them. Next up, we got running back, and honestly, it depends on the Austin Eckler situation. If he's gone, then we definitely need a running back, because Josh Kelly and then Xander Horvath and Isaiah Spiller, I don't think will cut it. And then next we got tight end. I think Gerald Everett's on his last season with the Chargers. Trey McKitty hasn't been all that good as a blocker. Then Donald Prime has been often injured, as I said before. So drafting a guy for the long term, a guy like Kincaid, Mayer, or even Laporta would be a good idea. Then you got defensive end. Khalil Mack's not getting any younger. Joey Bosa literally was injured the entire season last year. So drafting a third guy or fourth guy to rotate in and out with them would be awesome, because guys like Chris Rump haven't worked out like the Chargers had hoped for. Yeah. And then moving on to linebacker, Kenneth Murray is probably going to be gone after next year, let's be honest. And then Kendricks is not a long-term solution, and the depth behind them is even thinner. They've only got Nick Neiman, and that's probably it. Then you got cornerback. It's not as big of a need, but if Michael Davis, the outside corner, goes down, and J.C. Jackson doesn't come back fully healthy from his injury, then you've honestly only got Asante Samuel, which is a horrible position to be in. And on the inside, I guess you could play Jasir Taylor, but having another outside corner just for depth is definitely a good idea. Moving on to defensive tackle, as you can see from the free agency losses, they lost a ton of depth there, so drafting a guy as a depth piece would definitely be a good option, especially since Austin Johnson and Tito Obonia suffered season-ending injuries last season, so they might not come back fully healthy either. And lastly, we got safety. I think we're putting too much pressure on Derwin James to do every single thing, so best case scenario would be JT Woods stepping up and starting, splitting time with Elodie Gilman, but that's the best case scenario, so you could look to draft a late round safety, but that's not necessarily a must. With that being said, let's get right into the draft. So the Chargers have 7 overall picks in this draft, which is not enough to cover up all their needs. So I think it'll be a good idea to trade down here. So we got the Vikings. They're willing to trade their first, third, and sixth. The Cowboys one probably looks the best. Let's accept that one. I mean, it's kind of unrealistic to trade that much for, I don't know, 2 or 3 spots. But I guess if the Cowboys really like somebody, they would do that. Okay, awesome. So you got Michael Mayer, Kincaid, Zay Flowers, all here. In terms of receivers, you got Jalen Hyatt. Probably not going to take him. I like Josh Downs better, or even Marvin Mims. But Michael Mayer is basically the most well-rounded tight end in this class. Like, he can block and receive really well. Kincaid is just the ultimate receiving tight end in this class. Not saying his blocking's horrible, but Darnell Washington's probably the best blocker out of all these guys. And you got like guys like Luke Musgrave and Sam Laporta, who would be like first rounders any other year, but this year's pretty stacked at tight end. We could take Zay Flowers. He would be an awesome fit, and take like a tight end in the second or third, depending on who falls. Probably deciding between Kincaid and Zay Flowers. I think Zay Flowers is probably the move, given that Keenan Allen or Mike Williams are going to be gone. One of them is definitely going to be gone next year. So preparing for that is definitely going to be important. Darnell Washington's still here. Alright, we still got a ton of guys on the board here. I like Thule. He's honestly not necessarily a D tackle. He's a tweener. He can play D end or D tackle and be fine. We have a tight end, Darnell Washington, Sam Laporta. I think that Sam Laporta is a better fit, even though Darnell Washington is essentially a 6th offensive lineman and would be really awesome in a blocking system. But I think what Kellen Moore wants to do is just pass downfield and get like explosive plays, which is what Sam Laporta does pretty well, given that he broke like the most amount of tackles for a tight end in college. So if we can get him with our 3rd pick, it would be awesome. But would I really want to bet on that? I think it's between Derek Hall here and Sam Laporta. I think that edge is deeper, so we'll take Sam Laporta, I guess, with our 2nd pick, and then hopefully, dang, okay, so Derek Hall got picked. That's unfortunate. Drew Sanders is still here. He was an edge at Alabama, then he transferred to Arkansas to get more playing time, and he turned into a really good, solid, like, blitzing linebacker type of guy. Foskey's pretty stiff in terms of bend. I'm going to go for a linebacker later on, a guy like Deion Henley or Dorian Williams and DeMarcus Overshown, and pick a guy like Tui right now just to have more depth at our D-line. And he's a tweener, he can play both spots. He probably won't start immediately and likely will sit behind Bosa and Mack, which is fine. He just has to be a rotational guy for now. So yeah. So Tucker Kraft's still here. So Sidney Brown, Jordan Battle, Tony Johnson, Tyjae Spears. Ooh, he's probably the top 5 running back in this class. Definitely behind guys like Bijan or Zach Charbonnet, but he's a pretty solid dude. Here Rasheed Rice, Nathaniel Dell, Mingo, Perry, Reed. Reed's also a speedster. Perry's a big body guy, but kind of moves like a smaller receiver in terms of route running, which is pretty interesting. Honestly, here in the third, we might just take a linebacker. I think safety, Johnson, Battle, Sidney Brown, or Tatum Martin. It's pretty deep right now. So I'd rather take a guy like Henley, because after him, it's a bit of a drop off with Nick Herbig, who's honestly an edge, overshown Dorian Williams. So yeah, I'll take Deion Henley here. Deion Henley's an absolute tackling machine and just can play all 3 downs, no problem. Tyjae Spears still here. Do we pick him at 90 or take a safety here? Given that Jordan Battle's still here, Sidney Brown. Sidney Brown played on the Illinois defense. That's got like Devin Witherspoon, Chartavius Martin. So pairing him up with Derwin James would definitely be a good idea. Maybe we can look to take a corner. Garrett Williams, he's a bigger corner at 6 foot. So we'll be fine on the outside. Corey Trice will likely be a safety. He's like 6'2", 6'3". Caillou Blue Kelly can play on the outside as well. Keytrell will be a corner, like slot corner guy. Corian won't be too bad. So we got a ton of options here. We got 6 more picks left. Might take a second receiver, who knows? But yeah, we got a ton of options right now. Looking at the top of the board for running backs, we got Tyjae, take Bigby, Israel Banaconda, Chase Brown, Sean Tucker. It's really deep here as well. So definitely wait on that. Or we just take it right now. Honestly, you say a safety running back here. Jamie Robinson's awesome, Bretton Joseph, Hickman. I think with 35 picks, it might be better to just take a safety right now and worry about running back. Even though Tyjae Spears is like probably the best running back on the board right now. Yeah, I'll take Sidney Brown here. He's really versatile. He's insane athleticism, just like his twin brother Chase Brown. Probably got picked. Zach Evans is a bigger back. Zach picking Jamie Robinson. Yeah, if Jamie Robinson fell, okay. Could have picked Jamie Robinson, but it's not at the end of the world. Dylan Horton's not a bad edge at all. What do we have at receiver? Oh, A.T. Perry's gone, Reed's gone, Wilson, Charlie Jones. Charlie Jones got returner capability, so given the loss of DeAndre Carter, we could look to add him. And Izzy is kind of a speed back. Probably not the best fit for the Chargers. Kendra Miller, not bad. Zach Evans is not bad either. John Tucker, he's got a ton of speed as well. Yeah, we can definitely wait in terms of running back. Let's take a corner probably. I like Jacorian Bennett. Honestly, Corey Trice is not bad, but that depends on if you want to move him to safety. But he should be fine outside. Honestly, let's just take Jacorian Bennett here. Why not? C+. Alright. I think it's fine, but having the outside corner and like solidifying that depth is definitely a must. Michael Wilson, he got injured all the time at Stanford, but his release package is awesome. So we got 4 picks left. One at 129. Maybe we take another linebacker, Yasser Abdullah. He's 6 foot. He's a smaller linebacker, but he's more of an outside type where he can play both edge and linebacker. And he's covered like receivers and even got a pick off one on a wheel route. So he's got the athleticism to keep up with all the faster guys. I honestly don't think that Yasser will be there at 156. And with the depth at linebacker being really thin, Kenneth Murray, Eric Kendrick, Nick Neiman, and now Deion Henley. I think a 5th linebacker is a must. Even if he plays special teams, I think that having a guy behind him is just safer. Running back starting to go away. Zach Evans still here, Sean Tucker. Maybe we take a interior lineman, kind of like Drew Scruggs. Ricky Stromberg, really underrated guy at Arkansas. Luka Nakua, Ronnie Bell, Drew Tucker, Starting to get thin at receiver. Matt Landers, he's got a really high RAS score at like 9.9 something. So that's definitely what Telesco likes to see. He like usually drafts like more athletic guys. I think Mekhi Blackman or Starling down the bottom could be an option as well. I think that we may take a D lineman. Dante Stills, Jared Clark, Keandre Coburn. Mike Morris is really unathletic. I don't know if I'll take him. Jalen Redmond's really raw. He was a 5-star coming out of high school at the edge. I think I turned to D lineman, although he's got like some health issues. He turned like blood clotting, so it's not really like on-field related. But yeah, that's just something to keep in mind. Probably go Gerard Clark or Keandre Coburn if I had to take anybody. But I think we can wait for him at like 200 and be fine. So I'll probably take like Ricky Stromberg here. He played center for Arkansas. Juice Scruggs is here. Thomas Income, Brandon Cox. I think Edge here is kind of gone. BJ Thompson's alright. Definitely a developmental guy. We have a right now, Keaton Mitchell. And their outside zone guy, Evan Hole. 5'11", pretty big. Maybe we go that way. Monte Mapu played safety at Sacramento State, but yeah, he'll likely be a linebacker. Muhammad Diaby at 238, probably a special teamer, even though he was a long-time starter for the Florida Gators before transferring to Utah to take Devin Lloyd's spot who went to Jags last year. I really like Mekhi Blackman. I think corner depth is just not enough. JC doesn't get healthy, and if one of the outside guys, say Asante or Michael Davis, goes down, then you got Jacorian, and I guess Mekhi Blackman, not Garner. So I'm inclined to take him, even though it's not the biggest need. Actually, if anything, we'll take Nessa J. Silvera. He's a really good run stopper. He'll probably fill that role perfectly. Yeah, I'll take Nessa J. Silvera here. And if we can take Mekhi Blackman with a final pick, I think that would be awesome. The receiver, a second receiver would be nice. I feel like running backs, I think we can sign an undrafted guy after the draft ends. If Eckler really is gone, then kind of in a predicament. So Mekhi's gone, unfortunately. You know what? We might just take Evan Hole, 5'11", pretty solid. Nico Remigio, probably the best returner in this class. So he could replace DeAndre Carter. Do we take another running back for like the third or fourth draft in a row? We got Josh Kelly, Isaiah Spiller, and then Larry Roundtree. Yeah, I'll probably take Evan Hole here because Eckler really took a beating last year, even though he didn't really miss any games. So having Evan Hole just take the load off of him, keep him healthy for the rest of the season, definitely a good idea. So with our first pick, we took Zay Flowers, receiver out of Boston College. He's really similar to like Antonio Brown in terms of like explosiveness, and probably one of the faster guys in this draft. So we got Sam Laporta next out of Iowa. He was literally the entire offense there in a really horrible situation, and he still made it work. He's a smaller guy at 6'3", so he won't be able to do like crazy contested catches and stuff, but Harper will make it work. And next up we got Tuli Tuipulotu, the tweener out of USC. He'll probably play a bit of everything. Expect him to be pretty flexible. Then you got Dan Henley. He's a 3-down linebacker, no problem. He can cover well, he can tackle well. He'll do anything that a linebacker should do. Don't have to worry too much about there. He'll probably sit behind Murray and Kendrick still, just to learn. But if he has to start, I don't think it'll be too big of a problem. We got Sidney Brown next, just to have more depth at safety, and if JT Woods doesn't work out, he can take his spot. We got Jacorian Bennett. He ran in the 4.2s alongside his teammate Deontay Banks from Maryland. He'll probably be a depth corner for now. We got Yusur Abdullah. He's more of a flexible outside linebacker type of guy and athletic enough to cover motions and sweeps. So he'll be fine. Probably be a special teamer at the beginning, but yeah, more depth at linebacker. You got Ricky Stromberg backing up the center or guard position, depending on who gets hurt, I guess. So right now you've got Rashawn Slater at left tackle, and then Zion Johnson, I believe, is moving to left guard. Corey Linsley at center. Right guard's going to be Jamari Sawyer, who played left tackle. You got Trey Pipkins at right tackle, so you can back up Corey Linsley or the guards, no problem. And their second to last pick, we got Nesta J. Silvera. He's a really good run stopper. He can be another rotational guy within the D-line group. And lastly, we got Evan Hull, running back out of Northwestern. He did extremely well the Senior Bowl, and can be a change of pace back for Eckler and run in between the tackles, because that's not Eckler's strong suit. It'll keep Eckler healthier as the season progresses and make the run game hopefully a lot better than it was last season. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hope you guys learned about some of these guys, and yeah, hope you enjoyed the video.